Abandoned churches. Photographer Step Lawless has been around the world, carefully capturing shots of individuals who still live in these abandoned places, known as those who were left behind. Abandoned malls. In a TV interview, the artist explained that his inspiration came from a desire to show Americans what was happening in their country from the comfort of their suburban homes and smartphones. Abandoned parks. The artist was named as one of the most interesting people of the year in 2015 by Cleveland magazine, which recognized not just his impressive work but also his sensitivity. Abandoned houses. Seth is also known for his dark humor and reflections during interviews, in which he expresses his frustration with war, government and civic corruption as well as violations of human rights. High River, Canada. When he was speaking about one of his latest works, he heard about a completely abandoned town in perfect condition, in Canada, which he went to visit and photograph. He was in Banff giving a speech at the opening of a conference last month, when government workers told him that he had to travel to High River. The city was devastated by floods in 2013, leaving the community totally submerged in waters which reached the neighborhood of Alberta. Rising floodwaters forced the 13,000 inhabitants of High River to flee, many of them without time even to grab their personal belongings. When the photographer arrived, he was shocked at seeing High River, saying that Beechwood Estates was the most terrifying neighborhood in the world. These houses, intact but now completely empty, were originally worth millions of dollars each. Lawless explained in an interview to In Canada that many of the places that he photographed were strange, but that this one had been even stranger because he felt that everyone living there had just disappeared in an instant. From the outside, the neighborhood doesn't seem to be abandoned, especially when compared with other areas devastated by floods, such as New Orleans. Most of the houses are new, without graffiti or vandalism. They seemed untouched and unscathed to Seth. The photographer said that he compared High River with the post-apocalyptic city of Alexandria in The Walking Dead on AMC. The local government of Alberta auctioned 26 of these houses at the beginning of this year, receiving bids online which totaled thousands of dollars. All the houses on sale were considered suitable for relocation. The buyer will pay the moving costs together with those for the relocation of the house within 160 working days. According to the government, after all the houses are moved or demolished, the area will be returned to its natural state. However, Lawless criticized the media, saying that these houses should never have been built or sold in the first place just due to their environmental appeal. For the photographer, who is used to visiting places in the same state, construction on floodplains should be prohibited in order to avoid these types of disaster. His main desire for his work in High River is to help educate people on the negligence by American governments in relation to floods. Lawless classified the state of the abandoned town as being totally irresponsible and a serious act of negligence on all sides. He said that the experience of seeing the abandoned luxury houses was an intimate one, and different from everything he had seen before. The places he visits are usually in varying states of deterioration, cold and intransigent. This was not the case with High River. He thought that this was because although everything there seemed intact, the place had a strange atmosphere for him. Scary would probably be the wrong word, but in that moment, on that first walk, he admitted to feeling scared. Many of Lawless' projects have gone viral and were hugely popular in 2014 and 2015, being published on big channels such as CNN, Fox News, NBC News and ABC News. He was invited to help mark 10 years since Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, and his photos showed the effects of the storm, with images which shocked the world. Publications such as Slate magazine, Fast Company and The Guardian named the photographer's work amongst the top 10 most popular stories in 2014. Step Lawless has published various photography books which are usually released in limited quantities after each specific project he does. In the past few years, the artist has made the most of digital platforms to promote his creativity and combat injustice and oppression, through his incredible frightening work and photographs.